Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Episode number 122 on this fine Tuesday evening. Few technical difficulties, but as we do so well, we've worked right through them. We've figured out what it was, and we have moved on, and we have moved forward. Luckily enough, the second that Steven hit a certain button, I was like, ooh, that sounds really familiar. Where have I heard that before? And I remember Liam playing with different buttons there in the house, and it was one of those buttons. And there's two buttons they have on. We had one on and not the other. So it was a little awkward, but we figured it out. So for those of you who do not know, I am Brian Pierce. I am your host of this fantastic show, Seat Time. Yes, I do have one of our limited edition tank tops on. No, I am not a model, and I am not going to try to sell you on it by how sexy I look. But I am very grateful for the people that did purchase one of the 30 that we did sell the past couple weeks. If for some reason you're wondering why you're getting a reshipment of them, there were little bits of it that I wasn't happy with the printing, and I reached out to Teespring, and they said, okay, cool, well, let's fix it, and we'll do a reprint. So that would be why you might be getting other versions of, or not other versions, just another number of whatever it was that you had ordered. So give it to your friends, give it to your mom. It could be saved for a birthday present or maybe for a Christmas present, or you just feel like sewing them together and having a really big ass tank top. There you go. There you have it. So this is Seat Time, the online show for the off-road enthusiast. We are the beer drinking, bench racing show that makes sure to have as much fun as possible and focus on all the shenanigans that happen in the off-road world of dirt bike racing, riding, and yes, that world. And so we have some really cool guests tonight. We were going to have Trevor Bollinger on first, but for whatever reason, he stopped reaching out to me. So Nick Burson, like the fantastic person he is going to jump on first, and we're going to have a fantastic show tonight. Nick, did you have any idea that Maria Forsberg was pregnant, and that they just announced that they're having a baby?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, I literally, it's always good to scour Facebook for information on different people and what's going on in the world of dirt bikes, and that's what I saw. Now, the question is, they're quirky people. Do you think that they possibly just stole somebody else's sonogram picture and it's an April Fool's joke?
I guess, yeah, with today, you never know.
Yeah, and another thing about this day, is it actually your birthday?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
Man, when is your birthday?
June.
June. So then it would be the last time that we spoke was in June, because it said underneath your name that today was your birthday when we were in Skype. So I can only imagine then that the last time we talked that was the deal.
Yeah, I think it was around then.
We'll go with that. That. Well, it's been too long then. That's got at least 7-8 months. Too long. So, just fill us in. What have you been up to? How's the year been treating you?
It's been going really good. Super busy. I've been doing all the local District 37 racing, and then plus the National Hare and Hound. So we've had 3 rounds so far, and I've been fortunate enough to win the last 2. And then the next weekend we have another national. We have 4 nationals in the next 2 months.
Woo!
So
that's a lot of racing.
Yeah, it's all gonna be real busy here.
Yes.
Real soon.
Yes. Yeah, I could say so. So you've done well in the past. In 2013, you were 3rd overall for the National Hare and Hounds. But 2014, you've got a couple more. You got more wins under your belt this year than you've had in the past in a season. What is it about this year that you think that your consistency is starting to come into play there?
I think it's just being on the same team and same bike. Last year we switched to Beta. It was the same team, but we switched bikes. And then this year everything kept the same. So it was nice to go in. It's been the first year I've stayed on the same brand in a while. So to have some consistency with the bike, with the team, we're growing as a team, getting a lot better, and just finally putting everything together.
Tell us a little bit more about the Beta, because we've seen, Corey Buttrick is on a beta this year, racing the National Enduros. We'll be doing a select few GNCC rounds. Cody Webb, obviously, and Max Gersten have been doing a really great job in the Endurocross series on the betas. You were riding the beta last year, and we got a chance to talk to you a little bit about that. But were there any big changes that you all made to the bike, or maybe even to other parts of your program during the off season, or kind of coming into some of these races for 2014?
Not too much. I mean, we learned a lot last year with the bike, and we like I said, we rolled everything over into going into January this year, and we just, a couple things that we liked to change on the bikes for us that we did. But other than that, it's almost the same bike as last year, which I believe that really helped me. I just like to be comfortable on the bike. So as long as I can be comfortable on the bike, then I'm usually can be up front.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hare and Hounds, the bomb run is obviously extremely important. So that it seems like the idea is to make sure you're out in front, so that way you're not scoured by people's dust and possibly other debris, things of that nature flying around. How have you done in this year so far with the starts at the National Hare and Hound?
Good. The 2 races I won, I led off the start, so that had a big help in winning those 2 races. I would think I was second at the first round, and I ended up third there. Mainly, I mean, for us, out-of-state races are out of California, and
right.
We have a handful of those, and those seem to be a lot more important for starts. It's a lot more single track kind of, or quad width trails, where out here you can get off the trail and get out of the dust. So it's not as important out in California to have a good start. I mean, you always want to, but the out-of-state ones, for us, it's really important because it's usually real silty, dusty, and there's just nowhere to pass. I mean, you could see it from the last round of how people started, kind of where they finished.
Right. With, you were talking about some of the out-of-town races. We just got done with Idaho, where you had picked up another win. It looked like there were a lot of guys out there that don't typically make it out to a lot of races anymore. I saw like David Camo was out there, Colton Udall, and even Jimmy Jarrett had a chance to come out and do his first National Hare and Hound. Did you get a chance to talk with those guys to see kind of how they'd been and what they've been up to, and then of course with Jimmy Jarrett, his first experience?
Well, I think Jimmy raced a few of them. I think in 2012 he came out and did some, and then but Camo, yeah, I talked to him often. I think he's just getting done or healed up from his shoulder surgery.
Okay.
And then that's his hometown race for him.
Yeah, that's super close to where he lives.
Yeah, but I think he lives out in California now.
Oh, okay.
So, but he had to fly up there for his hometown race, which is kind of funny. But the club did an awesome job. We actually had purse money for the first time in a while, which most of our races is only, it's just bonuses, whatever you work out in your own deals to make money. So this race had I think it was $3,500 purse and $500 to catch the hare, which is the guy that takes off a couple minutes before we all start, and he's usually a club member.
Right.
So I think a lot of those guys saw the opportunity to try and make some money, which always brings competition out.
That's the dumb question then. Now that you've actually mentioned it, it's funny enough, throughout all the years that we've been doing this, talking and trying to learn about the National Hare and Hounds, having not ever raced one, so haven't really ever had a chance to learn the rules. Tell us a little bit more about the hare and the concept of trying to catch that hare, and you're talking about there's actually some purse money this time for the first rider to catch it, or in this case, him.
A lot of the local District 37, if they put on a hare and hound, they send out, usually it's a person who's in the club, kind of a fast club member, and they usually take off about, it depends kind of on their speed, 2 to 5 minutes ahead.
Right.
And then it's usually just kind of a joke. They're always like the guy who's dressed up in the bunny suit. And then it's just always, they used to do it every time they had a hare, they'd put up money. So it's kind of like to chase the rabbit to catch the money. And they don't usually do that too often anymore. Sometimes some clubs will do it. But yeah, they put up $500.
That's pretty awesome.
The hare at this race, yeah.
So
I mean,
It sounds like getting money at a Hare and Hound is, like you said, it hasn't really happened in a while. Do you know what this club did different to try to be able to pull that in?
I believe they've done it in the past too. I don't think as much. I mean, I know they paid the top 10 this year, which I don't know if they just did it out of their own pocket or if they had sponsors. They didn't say, but I know it helps us as racers getting to and from the races. Any little bit helps us, and when we see the money up there, it is always nice to hit those races.
Absolutely. So that actually kind of makes me wonder, what is it? How does your program work then? How does a rider like yourself, who's you have a team, you have people backing you, little things like that. Where is it that you make the majority of your earnings or your money to live off of as a racer?
A lot of it, I mean, with racing part is bonuses from Purvine's Racing. The owner of our team
right.
gives us bonus. We have contract beginning of the year when we talk, and it's pretty much from him because all our races don't have purse money like that. But other than that, all of our team, my teammate Justin Morrow, we're working full time too, most weeks. So
right.
That's where most of the income comes from.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought I remembered from the last time that we chatted was that you were kind of like, I have to make it home from work at this time, and then we could do the show and stuff like that. So what is it that you do full time? Well, I guess as full time as you can while you're not traveling to races and racing.
I just do construction, kind of for myself or for friends who own businesses.
So you're kind of just like a general contractor. You can kind of like
jump
in and pick up a little bit of work here and there.
Try to do whatever I can for work and race and ride.
So what's the coolest thing about building a house?
I don't know. I'm usually the guy doing the tile. I did that a lot. So
yeah, like at the kitchen floor, bathroom floor, or maybe on the walls, or
yeah, we pretty much done everything: showers, floors,
all right,
all that. It's not very fun though, so I won't say that's the funnest.
Right. Number one, do-it-yourself tip then for people who have tiled or plan on tiling.
Make sure it's level before you start.
All right, I like it. That's a good one, I think.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I've done a lot of tile work somehow.
Yeah, and it seems to happen.
Yeah, like owning this. I'm in my second house now, and the first house was I don't know, 40-something years old. I just felt like the people that had done a lot of work beforehand just wasn't really that good at work, and me having the I like big projects bug just got in there and started tearing crap up and going to town on it. So
yeah,
I've learned a lot of bad lessons.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so you have also tried to take advantage of the WestCheck Enduro Series. This is a series that I know of, but again, I don't really know much about this series. And I did hear, though, that you could have possibly burned a couple checks.
Yeah, this weekend I've been doing. I want to try to follow that whole series, but I don't think I'll be able to. I do the District 37 Desert Series, which includes a lot of the WestCheck. And this past weekend was a timekeeper enduro, and it's the first time I ever did it by myself. Last year I rode one with the computer, but I rode with someone else that kind of helped me. That done it a lot. So this year I just went out and tried to do it my own. I did the first loop perfect, and then I burned 2 checks on the second loop. Just mistake. I mean, I guess you just gotta learn how to do those.
Yeah. Well, were you riding possibles, or was it a total like just brain fart and you forgot to kind of cut back on your speed?
Yeah, it was the first time really. Yeah, with I was using the ICO computer, and it's the first time I've really kind of messed with it on my own, and I think I was like 10 seconds early to both of them, and I just was off a little bit. I think maybe with my mileage, or because the computer said it was good to go, but
right. Yeah,
I just
man,
gotta
that's
learn
tough.
a little more tricks with it.
Were you running the more up-to-date ICO, the one with a little bit wider screen?
Yeah, I just got it last year, so
okay.
It's the one that's supposed to tell me everything to do, but I still messed it up somehow.
Yeah, that's understandable. What about a route chart? Were you running a route chart at the same time so that you had all your possibles?
Yeah.
Okay, so you You dropped the ball.
Yeah, I think I got behind, and then they changed the speed, changed right towards the end,
Yep.
and then I went ahead, and I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, it's funny. I was having a conversation with Zach Huberty and a couple other guys about timekeepers and stuff like that because, we just got done with the National Enduro here in Texas. Tons of fun, amazing event. I really enjoy the National Enduro Series now, the way that they've kind of gone to the restart format. But having grown up with my father in the Sarah circuit in Louisiana and Mississippi and all that stuff, those were all timekeepers. And I grew up knowing Kerry McEnroth, who grew up in the he's from the Sarah circuit and the creator of the ICO or owner of ICO Racing. So I've seen a lot of prototypes and all that stuff come through the years. So it's interesting how we've kind of gotten away from it. But man, it's fun in its own right. But you could really tell that the sport itself just wasn't growing. It was dwindling quite easily with timekeepers because there's just so much to learn. It's fun, it's different, but when the racer mentality of typical, and especially with younger kids, is to just go out and ride fast, it's really hard to try to tell them to slow down and learn something. It's not all about 36 miles an hour. Sometimes it's about 18 and 15 miles an hour. So
yeah, they're really different. I kind of like them. I mean, there's not enough of them, like you said, anymore to really get into it. That's pretty much the first one I've done, but it's really interesting.
So the West Czech Enduro Series, then all of those are timekeepers.
I only think 2.
Okay, so it's not a series specific thing. It could still be a club specific.
Yeah. I know
decision.
we only have 2 in District 37 now that are actual timekeepers because the first round of West Czech that I went to was a qualifier format.
Interesting. Yeah,
So,
and I like the qualifier format too. When you guys do the qualifier format type enduros, are those typically like 2-day events as well? Or are they just 1-day events with the same kind of format?
it's just based on the club.
Okay.
I believe the first one was just 1 day.
Okay.
I don't think I haven't done a 2-day one yet.
Those are fun. If you so you just rode you've before just going to Boise, you've ridden that National Hare and Hound before, correct?
Yeah, the last few years.
Okay. Yeah. So talking with Brian Elliott, who is a Montana native who lived in Boise for a while and then kind of went back to Montana. He told me that that's a really cool National Hare and Hound just because you get so much different terrain because of where you're at in maybe like down in a bed, creek bed, or river bed or something like that. But the qualifier they have up there, the 2-day qualifier, the Idaho 100 or 200, however they call it, up there in Idaho City, is awesome. It is super, super cool. That's in May or June. We could check the internet and find out for sure.
Yeah, I think it's like June 1st. I think I'm planning on going up there for that this year.
Yeah. Trying to talk him into Idaho. So it sounds like Ryan Kudla is probably trying to talk you into heading up there. So.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and I might be trying to go to ISD this year on a club team or whatever I can get on.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be super, super cool. Has that been any kind of talk with Purvines Racing and maybe Beta with what would happen if you were to qualify for the ISDE?
Yeah, me and Ron, who's the owner of Purvines Racing, have talked about it going into this year, and I think I'm going to go up there and qualify or see if I can qualify, and then I think we'll go from there. And he's interested in helping me go. So
that would be really cool if we got if you were over there on a Beta. I'm trying to think if I saw a Beta on any of the club riders in the past couple of years. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think anyone from over here.
Seeing Ryan Sipes on that Suzuki last year was weird enough.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You don't see those in off-road too often.
I know. Hey, that's a good question. Have you qualified for or tried to go to the ISDE before?
I haven't.
Haven't? Okay, so this will be a first time for you.
Yeah. I've been meaning to go up to Idaho City for a while, but it's kind of in our summer break, which just starts then. So by the time it comes around, like we have the 4 nationals coming up, and it's like the following weekend after the 4 nationals and 2 month stint.
Right.
So usually by then I kind of just take a couple weeks off, but I'm going to go up this year.
Well, and do you ride a 300 two-stroke, or are you on a four-stroke?
I don't know. That's still what I think if I went to ISDE, I'd ride the 300.
So the
But
E3 class?
yeah, I'm going to ride E3 no matter what. I'll be on either the 498 or 300.
Very cool. Oh, and then Ryan Kudla, who's always staying on top of me, just like Zach Huberty, good friends of ours, is said that Justin Sode last year he was on a beta. So
Okay.
you wouldn't be the first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was kind of like torn, but yeah, I totally dropped the ball on that one. And Sode's been doing good. He actually got a wreck in Texas. I heard he's better, but he's trying to get ready for Tennessee this coming up weekend. So.
Was the National Enduro far from you guys in Texas, or?
No, it was if you lollygag from my house, about 4 hours.
Okay.
You know, and if you were just like going straight on there and hitting it up, you 3.5 hours you'd make it,
Yeah.
which for us is pretty good. I'd say my closest race is probably Nacogdoches. Well, it used to be Munster, but the Red River Dirt Riders don't have a race there anymore.
Okay, yeah.
And that was, that's where like Last Man Standing used to be.
Yeah, I've been out there a few times.
Okay.
I come out. One of my best friends lives in McKinney.
Hey, am I your best friend?
Do
Because
that-
I live in McKinney.
you?
Yeah. Who's your best friend?
Dylan Murdoch.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I ride mountain bikes with Dylan Murdoch.
Okay. Yeah, I was.
But
out
he used to
there.
live up there, didn't he? Like he used to live up north somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah. He went to school down here in California, and then
Okay.
he's from Oregon.
Oregon. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Because I remember him. Now that you're saying this, I remember him and I having this discussion about like how strange it was for him and like the way he wound up in Texas and everything like that. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I was out there in November riding with him and mountain biking.
Man. Well, hell.
So.
I'm gonna have to go mountain bike. Well, Dylan Murdoch is much faster than me on a mountain bike. I'm
me
an
as
average.
well.
I'm an average sport. If you were to put me in a class, I'd be in the sport class, and he would easily be in the expert class.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have never raced mountain bikes, even though it's only one class up, there is a huge amount of difference between being a sport rider and being an expert rider. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. So I'm gonna have to text Dylan and be like, dude, so Nick was on the show, right? And he's like,
Yeah.
And he said, I'm his best friend because I live in McKinney, and he's gonna be like, what? This is ridiculous. Nobody likes this. By the way, again, Ryan Kudla tells me that you should stay out of his class, so he doesn't want you beating him.
That's all the bikes I have, either 300 or 498. So
Yeah, figure it out, Ryan. There's a better chance of him finding another KTM, right?
get a 250 barrel for it.
There you go. Get to that E2 class, the most competitive class out there.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. So talking a little bit about West Coast stuff, I wanted to see if you've paid attention to some of the works racing that's been going on. And it's okay if you haven't. We haven't talked to very many people on the West Coast this year so far, and I'm just trying to get a little bit more knowledge base for what's going on out there.
Yeah, I usually kind of follow all the forms of racing pretty well. So, but yeah, I always look at the results, and pretty good friends with Gary Sutherland, and he's been killing it this year in the works.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was like, holy crap! I mean, we've always known that Gary's been a fast rider, like that. He's always been fast on a dirt bike, but it seems that consistency sometimes and bad luck has always really been, something that's plagued him. And it seems like bad luck has not been a problem, and consistency is certainly there. And there was a lot of stuff going on in his life for a little bit, and it seems, when we had him on the show and he was telling us about how everything's kind of straightening out, his family's really helping out, and obviously now it seems that whatever it was that was kind of, maybe allowing the up and down, it seems to have really leveled out for him.
Yeah, I know he's had some bad luck in like the West Hare Scrambles series.
Yes.
But other than those, the works races, which are probably a little more grueling, 2 hours on a short course that gets that rough, and he's been having no problems.
Yeah.
It's been good. I'm glad to see it.
Absolutely. Well, what other kind of stuff goes on the West Coast that's good for, those of us that are all over the country to know about? Are there other cool places to go ride or other events and series that we may not know about?
District 37 has the Big Six Grand Prix series.
Right.
Which, draws a pretty good crowd. They have a like a West Coast Pro race on Saturday, and they're including like the West Hare Scrambles,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's co-sanctioned for like 3 of those rounds. And then all of Eric Kudla's stuff that he's been putting on his GXC series, he's growing that. He's always putting on a race somewhere. It seems like every other weekend, so that's always good for us out here.
He's got to make enough money to buy facial hair products to keep up the chops. I think. Is the key.
You gotta keep those going.
It happens to the best of us. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you being able to kind of jump on there last minute. It seems we have gotten in touch with Trevor, and he's ready to go on his end. But anything else for us? You got anything else for us? You tell
Not
me,
really,
Nick. It's your show right now. It's your show.
Oh yeah, just trying to stay in the points lead. For the Hare and Hound Championships. That's the main goal this year for our team and for me. So I think the next 2 months will really tell. But we'll be 7 rounds done in the next 2 months. So, and then we only have 3 left after summer break.
And that's crazy that they do it like that. Why is it that you guys have so many in the beginning of the year and so little in the back half? Is that
I'm not
just
really
like how
sure.
it works out for land and clubs and stuff?
Yeah, I think the clubs have had their dates, and then I know everything has to be wrapped up by the beginning of October for the AMA stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the summer's pretty hot out, in the Lucerne Valley in the middle of the desert. So
yes, we
I think
understand.
they try to get as many in the front, or I'm not really sure. It'd be nice to kind of split it up, but then it's also nice to only have 3 left to worry about after summer.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. TSEC, our local enduro series here in Texas, we just did a 1.5-year series. So we started January of 2013, and it's going to end May of 2014 because the new series, because it's so hot here in Texas as well, we don't typically race in June, July, and August. So September is actually going to be the start of what will be our new series, and we'll go from September to May now. Will be our new series.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. I don't really understand it, but it's because of the fact they say that because the break in summer is so much longer than the break in winter. Because it's okay for us to race when it's fucking freezing, but not when it's 110.
Yeah, the cold's worse for me.
So yeah, I don't know. I know. That's their idea anyway.
They've talked about it out here a little bit. I think Eric's actually talked about it, but I think the hardest part with it is like sponsorship.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, and my dad's like, it sounds like a good idea because the new bikes are going to be coming out. But I was like, but everybody's going to be on their contract till the end of that race year.
Yeah.
Like even if 2015s are out in 2014, they're still on their 2014 contract for.
Yeah, unless everyone changes and you do contracts from those dates, then it'd be hard.
I guess the only way that could really work is, because how you see typically like say like Roxon, if he really does go to RCH for 2015, you wouldn't really know that happened. They wouldn't really say anything the second after, motocross was over.
Yeah.
But it would kind of like be in this weird lull until you'd start to see him practice on it 2 or 3 months later in public. Where I think they would have to be like, okay, motocross is done. That's 2014. And then everybody's contracts would end right then and there. Yeah. And then if those two, organizations did that, then I would see a lot of other people, making those.
Yeah, I think that's
changes.
The only thing that's going to hold it up is because the company's budget from January to December.
Yep.
So it's hard for them to budget sponsorship dollars when you got an extra half a year or.
Yes, weirdos. I don't know. Well, it sounds like we're trying to get too smart for our pay grade. So
yeah, probably.
I don't know. Well, I have to say I do enjoy your beard. I'm glad to see some more facial hair on the show.
Yeah, it's been helping this year, so I think I'll keep it.
Yeah, apparently, man. How's the hair under that cap looking though?
It's good. It's a little shorter than last time.
Oh, okay, yeah, because last time it was a lot. You like Jerry curl up in that bitch.
Yeah, it was cut off, and it's growing back out though.
Good. Well, cool, man. We'll appreciate you being on the show. Keep up the good work, and definitely just keep us keep us abreast of all the stuff that goes on the West Coast. It's good to have a correspondent out there to keep all of us enlightened on the racing and all the good times.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, dude. Will you take it easy, and we'll talk soon.
All right, see ya.
Later. All right, cool, man. It's good to talk with Nick Burson. He's such a down-to-earth dude, just like Gary Sutherland. A lot of dudes out there in the West, they're just hardworking dudes. That's what we like. So we're going to talk about fly racing. I didn't get a chance to, in the technical difficulties areas, to talk about some of the people that do help out a lot with seat time. And some of those people are fly racing. Huge supporters of seat time. Can't appreciate those guys enough. Of course, Power Sport Graphics, the guys over at Ride PG, so you can find them. Fly Racing is flyracing.com. Power Sport Graphics, ridepg.com, and Stillwell Performance, stillwellperformance.com. Huge supporters of Seat Time. Obviously, you can go to their websites, go to their Facebook pages, reach out to them, and let them know that you heard about them on Seat Time. If you do order anything through Ride PG, make sure you use the discount code Seat Time to save yourself some money while you're doing that. You can use that on the phone or while you are ordering online, which is fantastic. Of course, with Fly Racing, they are such a big supporter of Seat Time and creating good times and having a pint full of awesome that they have their Pint Full of Awesome Award. So one of the products that I wanted to talk about for Fly Racing and that they did decide to give away for this event is the Stingray Ready to Ride, which is a hydration pack kit. So this comes with the ultimate storage and hydration pack. It comes assembled with their Stingray front roost guard in a Ready to Ride kit. They have multiple internal organizations and separate pockets. Easy adjust ratcheting closure system. It's built to last, and it's comfortable with today's popular brand neck braces. And I know that's actually a big deal. I have not found a neck brace that I feel comfortable with wearing yet. I still want to try the Atlas neck brace. I haven't had a chance to try that yet. But that is a big deal, to be able to make sure that you're not just getting hydration, but that you're getting to be able to put that on there. So go to flyracing.com and find their hydration packs and look at the Stingray Ready to Ride pack. That's what we're going to be giving away to our Pint Full of Awesome award winner this week. I do have to say we had a lot of cool submissions. My honorable mentions for this week are going to be Moto Mama 512. Your little man that you take pictures of is awesome. I wanted to say keep up the good work on raising such a cool dude. And I know that as soon he's definitely going to have a picture soon that is going to be the winner, and I look forward to you guys keep on tagging us. Another runner-up, Phil Meckham 85. You're right, jumping 3 cow skulls is pretty damn cool. This is a pretty cool picture. He's like, it doesn't get much better than jumping 3 cow skulls, and he's set up a little ramp, jumping his dirt bikes, and he's got these 3 big cow skulls set up. So I like those. I appreciate that. Everybody else that was tagging and posting, thank you very much. I did notice that we were having a lot of Instagram submissions, which makes sense. That's Twitter kind of started the hashtag thing, but then it just blew up on Instagram, and it's all over the place now. You find it on Google Plus and Facebook as well. When we first started doing this, we had a couple cool submissions of people emailing and submitting videos that they had uploaded specifically for this award. And again, our winner comes from one of those submissions, and it is Mr. Mark Cook. It's Mr. Mark Cook for this week's Pint Full of Awesome award. This video that he submitted is from the Concho National Enduro, and I say that I could say a lot about it, but I do believe, Steven, you have that clip ready to go. All right, well, here's the clip. This is what he submitted, so thank you, Mr. Mark Cook. So, one of the things that I took away from this is, one, he crashed, and it looked like it sucked. That was at the Concho National Enduro, and it looked like it was going pretty slow. But I can tell you, those rocks, for whatever reason, are extremely sketchy. They will fall out from underneath you. You will dive and you will tuck just like he did. It was awesome. That one, I noticed he was wearing the Fly Racing 907 gloves that I gave him, the 2013 ones, because of the fact that it was chilly and my hands were cold, and I would wish that I had remembered to bring mine because I'd have had mine on. And also the fact that he lost his handguard cover and then went and stopped and picked it up, and bam! He's going to keep going and stuff like that. So it was pretty funny. So we appreciate you submitting your Pineful of Awesome award nominations and submissions. Everyone out there, keep it going. Keep having fun out there and keep tagging everything. It sounds like we have Trevor on. Trevor, are you watching and on the show at the same time?
Yeah, I'm on here.
All right, man. Well, good, because I used to be able to hear myself, and now I can't, so that's what I'm talking about. So, dude, what the heck? We're like, hey, be on at 8, and you're like, nah, those guys are stupid, whatever.
No, we was out mountain biking, so we got over here a little late, and my text didn't come in, so.
Mm-hmm. Anytime Stuart Baylor is taking up one of my guests, they never make it on time.
Yeah, he's known for that.
Ever.
Sure, you're as bad as me.
Ever. So, all right, well, dude, let's just say it. Congratulations on your XC2 win this past weekend.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there was a lot of talk about you at the end of 2013 because of you winning the four-stroke lights class, the four-stroke lights A class, and then you've had a great, XC2 so far in 2014 with a fourth, a third, and now a first. So it's been an interesting year already. We've had a lot of mud, and I can't say this past weekend we had as much mud as Georgia, but I figure since you've been there, you've been the one racing the races, I would let you tell us about your experiences at those events.
Florida, there was a lot of talk about how it was going to be a mud fest, and honestly, once we got racing, it wasn't that bad. There was just about 2 bad mud holes, and the rest of the track was pretty good. So the only true mud race we've had is Georgia, and that was a swamp, as everybody could see. And Steel Creek, everybody thought it'd be a swamp, but the parking lot was really the worst thing. The track shaped up nice. So
yeah, by the being able to watch the webcast this past weekend, the bits that I was able to catch while I was working on the closet that I have been working on for months at this point, it feels like. It really did look like it turned into a pretty good conditions. Now, we don't get in the nitty gritty sometimes with the webcast, and I'm fine with that. I'm so happy with what they're doing and putting that information out there for us to be able to consume and get more racing out, during the weekend. But it looked like you guys actually had some really good conditions. It might have been kind of slick, but it looked like that brownie that dirt was really starting to come together.
yeah, it rutted up nice, and pretty good day. That's what I like, is the rutty conditions. So
Yeah, and you actually slept in your own bed Saturday night, right? I mean, you were super close to home.
no, I didn't sleep in my own bed, but I could have if I wanted to.
You could have if you wanted to. How far away were you from the track?
It's about 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes? Damn. So is this... where did you grow up riding? I mean, did you grow up riding at Steel Creek?
No, that's just a one-time year deal.
Okay.
Nobody rides there throughout the year. So.
But what about, do you have, I guess, like the Baylors, do you have land that you kind of ride on that you've been...
My uncle owns a track. It's called Silver Creek and Mex. So
Okay.
we've had that in the family since my grandpa owned it way back in the day. So I've rode there.
All right, man, that's pretty wicked. Well, what was the biggest thing about changing from last year, racing in the four-stroke lights A class, to really kind of coming into the XC2 class, the pro lights class, competing against guys on a national caliber scale?
Yeah, last year, the last race, I rode XC2, and the biggest thing is just the intensity, especially on the first few laps. You got 15 guys that are faster than you, and they're going 110%. So you got to get used to that. Like in the A class, I could get dead last start and be leading the first lap, no problem, and never see nobody else the whole race. So
Right.
that's the big thing.
So for, I want to say, man, unfortunately, I'm a vet rider now. But for a vet A rider like myself, who finishes maybe, if I'm lucky, in the top 5 here locally, I'm going to be coming out to Big Buck, and I'm going to be involved in my first GNCC race ever. I'll be racing in the morning class. I don't have the balls or the gumption to get out there for 3 hours for my first GNCC. But so in the morning class, do you think I should do Sportsman A or Sportsman B?
Sportsman A.
Yeah? And are you just saying that because you want to see me cry?
No, you mean Stu said grow a pair.
That's funny. Everybody keeps telling me to grow a pair, and I keep thinking I just need to cut them off and say, fuck it, I don't want any more kids. Because that's what happens when you grow a pair, kids. I just want to make sure everybody understands how science makes sure to find the flaw in everybody's program as they grow a pair. No, but I'm looking forward to Big Buck. I think it's going to be cool. But we could talk about that a little bit later. So Florida, 4th place. As you said, maybe there were 2 really big mud holes. It wasn't really that bad of a mud race. So do you think for Florida that you performed the way that you expected to at the first race for 2014?
Actually, I performed a little bit better than I expected. I broke my wrist right before the 1st of January, so I had about 3 weeks of riding before Florida. So I wasn't expecting too much, just to get a good top 10, score some points, and then my wrist gave out about halfway through the race, so I just put on survival mode and brought her in.
So being that Stuart Baylor is in the background, do you think that you hurt your wrist because you've been hanging out with him for too much?
I don't know. I don't think that's...
Tell him we were on the same training regimen.
We were on the same training regimen, he says.
Well, there's a lot of things I could talk about, but that's definitely one of the other shows that we run where we get a little bit more dirty, Joe Dirty, if you will. Okay, so you performed a little bit better than you expected. Now you got 3rd going into Georgia, which you said was really the main mud run. Maybe what they're just saying is that the way it looks, there's just been mud at all of the GNCCs so far.
Yeah.
But so what about Georgia? 3rd place, get on the podium. You're getting a little bit of podium money. You're getting a little bit more, like, people are like, hey, what the hell? Check this guy out. He's doing awesome. I mean, how was all that for you at Georgia?
Actually, I expected to be on the podium at Georgia because they shortened the race to 2 hours, and I knew my race would last there, so I expected to be on the podium there, and it was good.
All right. So then you said, 2 hours, I can make that. Wrist isn't going to give out of me. We got 1st place this past weekend at Steel Creek. So was the wrist not an option? Do you think that what really attributed to you having such a great performance?
The wrist actually felt great this weekend. It was a little sore after, but I really didn't expect to have such a dominant performance at Steel Creek. I got a decent start and 6th going in the woods, and passed those guys pretty quick. Come through the first lap bleeding and led every lap after that. So it was a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, I bet, man. I can tell you, I've never won an XC2 Lights race ever. I don't think I would line up at one. I would line up at one with my video camera as a videographer, videoing people racing in the XC2 Lights class. I think it would be absolutely insane to go out there and try to quote unquote race for 3 hours. For me, it would be like I would literally be like popping blisters when that 3rd hour starts, and like grabbing some chamois cream and throwing it between my legs to try to get the rubbing to be a little more tolerable. I think it would be pretty intense. But so we're going forward to Big Buck. How do you keep the momentum up? Do you just say, wow, cool, just do whatever I did again? Or is there more to it than that? Or do you just take the Stuart Baylor approach and pop a 5-hour energy and say, what up?
I just need to be on the podium, to be in the title hunt. So I'm not expecting to win, but I know I need to be on the podium every race. So just keep doing what I'm doing, and can only get better from here as far as my body and my wrist goes. So.
Yeah, especially if you keep hanging out with Stewart.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna get you in all kinds of shape.
Oh, I know.
Ricky Russell and Grant Baylor. I wanted to know those guys. Ricky Russell was in the XC1 class last year. He's done really well at other events throughout the nation, including like Big Sky. Grant Baylor's done well there. Grant Baylor's done really well at some of the national enduros. XC2 title last year for him. What was it that really kept you in front of those guys, and how do you think the way that they're riding that you could try to I guess get in front of them and stay in front of them throughout a 3-hour race?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, both of them are phenomenal riders. The thing that sets apart Steel Creek is, I mean, it's my home track, so, and the conditions were exactly to my style. I love the ruts, so, and to set us apart, I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I'm ready for the challenge, and hopefully we can get back in front of them more races to come. So,
all right. And then here's a question I wanted to get your opinion on. I talked to Grant and asked him, hey, everything says you were riding a 450 at the National Enduro at the Concho National Enduro, and he was like, oh yeah, I was riding one. I was like, okay, cool. Why? And he was like, oh, I'm getting ready for XC1 next year, and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, this dude's already. I was like. So last year, XC2 champion. This year, defending his title, trying to see if he could get 2 in a row. And he's riding that 450 already to try to think about what he's going to do when he goes to XC1 next year for 2015. I mean, do you think that far ahead? Like, do you have any kind of thoughts on that? Is that just like batshit crazy to you?
I could understand it for him, but the way I ride is I'll probably never ride a 450 until I'm retired and hang the boots up. So
right, and then in that case, I'm assuming that you're a 2-stroke rider.
No, I ride a 250F.
250F.
Yeah.
You don't think you could get on the bigger bore?
I'm so aggressive it gets me in trouble sometimes. So when I move up, I'll hopefully be either a board out 250 or 350. So
right. And if you say board out 250, is there a specific kit and CC that you have in mind that you've run in the past and enjoyed?
I actually rode a 300. My 250 was bored out to a 300 in my A-Lots year, so I like that bike. But actually, the bike I have this year, it's not bored out or nothing, but I like it a whole lot better than my 300. So.
Huh. And definitely ignorance on my part. Are you on a KTM right now, or what bike are you on?
I'm on Honda.
Honda. Okay, yeah, as I said, excuse the ignorance. So Honda 250, what kind of, do you have any deals with anybody? What's your program looking like?
Yeah, I got a few guys helping me out. Fly, Usui, my suspension guy, and HVD graphics. But as far as bikes, I bought one bike this year, and I'm running the bikes I ran last year for practice. So we're on a shoestring budget as far as getting to the races and everything. So
right. Well, if you got to hang out with Stuart Baylor all the time, then you're on a shoestring budget. If you can't, if you can't afford better friends.
Yeah, I know.
It's something that one, definitely want to say thank you very much for what you did for us today. It was cool of you to send us that video of Rory. It was neat to be able to see you guys there at the hospital, and checking in on him and stuff like that. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that experience, how he looked, kind of just how the overall feel of the room was and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, the feel of the room was a whole lot lighter than I expected. I know if I was in his shoes and was pretty much paralyzed as of right now, I'd be a whole lot more down. And but Rory was very cracking jokes and stuff, and so that was good. And he had some feeling in his foot last night, I think. So they're looking like he can have a full recovery. So that's good.
Yeah, that's very badass. Now you might be able to pick up on this a little bit more than I do. We had a friend that had kind of a similar accident. Well, had an accident where he had a neck injury. Similar. I don't know if they're similar at all the way that they fell or not. But at first he was paralyzed as well from the waist down, and the doctors wound up telling him that luckily as he started to recover that he was starting to get feeling back, that a lot of that paralysis comes from the swelling of like the spinal cord, and it
Yeah.
swelling around all your nerves. Is there any expectation that that is maybe why he's paralyzed from the waist down right now, or is there more damage that they're thinking it could be the cause?
Well, at first, I think his C5, was it 4 or 5?
5 and 6.
Yeah,
5 and 6, they broke. And they were worried about it cutting the spinal cord in two, which if that happens, he's definitely paralyzed. But after the MRI, they found out that the spinal cord was still intact, and the swelling might be a part of why he can't feel from his chest down.
Right. Oh, so it's from his chest down.
Yeah, he can move his arms and stuff, so that's
Right.
good.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely the videos that you guys sent were cool. You showing him doing all the upper body movements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's waist down or from the chest down, right now it's probably no better if he can move his wrists. Huh?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's what Stewart was asking him when he did the throttle. Because
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, he
exactly
probably can't do that, Stewart.
Yeah.
His hand might be able to, but other parts might not be able to yet. But if anything, I remember in Breaking Bad when his brother-in-law was paralyzed and his wife was able to jerk him off and get him hard. So, maybe Stewart could go in there and work out his wrist on Rory and see what kind of magic he could cause.
Yeah, Stu's wrist needs a little working out. So
Yeah,
maybe,
it's like maybe that's a good warm-up before the races, so Stewart doesn't have to wear all those braces.
I have to tell him.
What got you into dirt bike racing? Is this something that your dad, it sounded like your grandfather owned a motocross track, so it sounds like this is kind of in the blood, but what got you into riding and then going into the GNCCs to race?
I rode when I was little, and I never really took it serious, and I started taking it serious when I was about 12, and did my first series in GNCC when I was 14, and then won the C class. In 2010, I ran the B class and got second in it. 11 and 12, I had 4 knee surgeries, so that put me behind a little bit. But 13 was when I'd pretty much quit, actually. In 13, I was just going to run the local series, and I run Steel Creek and won. So I was like, I'll run Big Buck, and then I won it. So we ended up doing the whole series. So.
You're like, crap, I'm going to have to start washing cars or doing something.
Yeah,
some extra money.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So 4 knee surgeries in 11 and 12. What the heck is what's 4 knee surgeries in 2 years?
I at Georgia in 2011, I tore my ACL and meniscus, and then I got back on the bike a little too early, I think, and raced snowshoe. And I think about a month after snowshoe, I fell in the field, tore my ACL again, had to have the ACL and meniscus surgery again, and then I've had 2 separate meniscus surgeries after that. So,
man, I actually, talking about injuries and being badasses, I went to the doctor yesterday. I had a couple falls at Concho. Ow, I don't even need to talk about the race, period. If I ride, I have a couple falls. It's just kind of the way it goes. If I race, it gets worse. But I had a couple falls at Concho. I was on Stewart's Road, too. I got to see him fall in front of me. Did he tell you that?
yeah, that's what he just asked.
Yeah. Yeah, we could talk about that all night long. No, we won't. But I was like, oh, yeah, my knees always hurt. It's just, I've been riding since I was 5, 34 right now. It's like, whatever, okay, cool. So I go the whole week, and I'm kind of stretching and trying, and everything's moving, things feeling good. But it's like, internally, I'm just like, man, shit just feels tight. It feels wrong. So I go do a boot camp just to try to see how it feels, and I push myself about 60, 70%. So not hard, but just enough to, get up a good sweat. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's not great. So I go to the doctor yesterday, and I was like, all right, blah, 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 blah. This was wrong with my knee. He starts doing all the feeling and stuff. He's like, all right, well, you sprained your ACL and your PCL. And I was like, so I'm okay. He's like, well, you're not okay right now, but you'll be okay in a couple weeks. And I'm just, even though I'm not a professional, I'm like, dude, I've got a race in 2 weeks in South Carolina, and it's going to be my first, national race. This is exciting for me. I want to go. And he's like, oh, okay, we'll just do these exercise, do this, do this, do this. And he's like, honestly, you should be fine, but, call me before you go if anything feels wrong and stuff. So, that's the wee bit of knee pain, that somebody as slow as me's had.
Yeah, I mean, I've broke my wrist 6 times and my ankles, and I can take all that at once over a knee. Knee's probably the worst pain I've ever felt, especially after surgery.
Yeah. I just thought of this, and if you don't know, that's fine. We don't need to. Definitely not something to speculate on. But in the press release and everything else that we've seen, Rory Mead, they mentioned it was a one-man accident, and that he didn't no collisions or anything on that stuff like that. Did he explain maybe what happened, like how he wrecked?
He said it was around the 8-mile marker, and he was coming down a hill, and there were some ruts, and he got a little off balance, and when that happened, he just leaned into a tree, and the first thing it hit was his head. So.
Oh. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Steven, our producer, is behind the computer, immediately kind of does the neck cracking move, and I'm like, yeah, you got that right. That's never fun. Never fun. I've had one really bad concussion from clipping a tree branch, just coming around a turn, probably going as fast as Stewart typically does. I would assume.
I think he hit it. I think he knocked himself out this weekend in the turn and hit the tree branch like that.
Yes.
See, I can do it too. I don't need to be just as fast. But yeah, man, it was like you're already kind of focused and looking on the next turn right when you crest the tree that you're turning around, and I just didn't notice the branch coming out, and it just clocked the ever-living crap out of me, ripped me off the bike, and as I'm laying there, it was like, you just don't know what happened because it hit you so hard, and then all of a sudden the stars finally come in, and then you're kind of like, oh my gosh, what in the heck? It's intense. Was Rory wearing a neck brace?
No, he was not.
No, he was not. Was there any talk to that? Did anybody? I mean, now I don't have a side on that fence, so I'm not making speculation at all. But was there any talk to that?
Well, Stuart Baylor's a die-hard neck brace believer, and he thinks if he had had it on, that it wouldn't have happened. So, but I mean, it only seems right that if you have a neck brace on, it wouldn't happen. So I'd have to say the same thing.
Right. Yep. It's so tough, and I've heard both sides to that to the story.
Yeah.
So it's it's interesting, but yeah, the good thing is he's obviously much healthier than not alive, which is fantastic. And it looks like there's a possibility for a damn good recovery. So that's going to be even more fantastic once all that goes down. And then Stuart Baylor can jerk him off all he wants.
Right.
It'll be fantastic. Once Grant Baylor gets faster than Stuart Baylor and he doesn't need to ride anymore, he can just pick up a job giving handies.
He said he'd hang it up when Grant beats him every weekend anyway. So.
That's not true at all. Because what's going to happen is he's going to work harder. It's going to be awesome. Awesome the first time Grant beats Stu at a GNCC.
Georgia.
No, at a GNCC. He did beat you at Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, he spanked me.
He's getting all red-faced over here. You better stop.
He's about to take his pants off. It's going to get weird.
Just one-arm push-ups real quick.
I don't want to do push-ups. You shut up. But I mean, you guys battle. That's what I mean. When that happens, that's gonna be epic. Ooh! I'm excited.
Stu said he'd crash him.
Nice. Brotherly love. If you don't have that, you don't got nothing, right? All right, so we got coming up this weekend. I'm excited because we have round 3 of the National Enduro Series. That's closer to you guys where you're at. I'd imagine the Baylors are going to be going. Are you going to be heading out there to Tennessee?
He's been nagging me all week about it. So
can I nag you a little bit more? You should go.
You should ride the pro class in the GNCC too.
Me? Heck no.
Yeah, you.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're just saying that because you want to roost the shit out of me and then laugh every time you lap me.
Hey, you can you get your rider intro, you can do a loop out, get back on your bike and ghost ride it. And then just hang it up for the day.
And walk off. Yeah, go pick it up. No, I don't want to do that. I'm doing the KR4 arrive and ride, so I'm going to have a nice prep 300. I don't want to do that.
If you ride Sportsman's A, then Trevor has to do the enduro this weekend.
I'll do Sportsman A if he does the enduro this
Trevor,
weekend.
you're doing the enduro.
Oh gosh.
I've talked myself into worse things than that. So all right, so the Rad Dad Enduro, you're going to be riding. I say that you can ride when you ride the enduro this weekend. Though I'm okay in you signing up in the AA expert class.
Oh yeah, if I run the enduro,
Yeah.
definitely.
No. When you ride the enduro,
You know,
we've already
Yeah.
decided that you're going. So Mike Brown is going to be there racing this weekend too.
In the enduro,
Yeah, how do you think he's going to do?
I mean, he does good at everything. So
That's
I
very
think he'll
true.
do well.
That's very true. The one thing, even though he's done really good at the ISDEs, the ISDEs don't have super tight single track. And in Tennessee, I would imagine there are going to be quite a few tight piney wood sections. And so I wonder, not that I think Mike Brown has an Achilles heel, but I wonder if this is like the one type of single track racing that he might not be great at, is when it gets super tight. But
Well,
then
he's
again,
not-
he's from Tennessee, so
Yeah,
who
that's
knows?
what I was about to say. So
Yep.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, I know. You're going to be there talking to him and asking all kinds of questions for us. One thing, too, this will be interesting, and maybe Baylor could have some input on this, too, is they say the first 3 miles of the Enduro are actually going to be transfer section. They're not going to have the race start right at mile 0, which, is more typical, back from more timekeeper type days. It seems that, and myself included and a lot of other riders, we go warm up beforehand anyway. So if the race starts at row 0 or if the race starts at mile 3, I don't know, I guess it's better for others. The more weekend warrior guys that don't typically go stretch and warm up and as Stewart does, run his bike to the starting line.
Yeah, I think that 3-mile warm up would be good. I wish we had that in GNCC.
I bet you do, but you don't.
I know.
Sucker. All right. Well, cool, man. Well, what other stuff? We're starting to wrap it up here. Our time's coming to an end this evening. But we appreciate your time. What else you got for us? Anything fun? Anything random?
No, not too much random. There is a Rory Mead's. As hospitals are so expensive, he's having a little fundraiser thing. It's on GoFundMe.com.
Yeah, let's find that and put that in the chat room.
Yeah.
GoFundMe, Rory Mead. Help Rory Mead by Levi Kilbarger. All right, we're going to put that in the chat room. And those of you in the chat room, if you haven't shared it on Facebook already, go ahead and do that. And make sure if you can donate $5, $10, do that. We definitely here at Seat Time are going to contribute some money. We have not yet, but we will. And we're going to make sure that gets as much support as we can offer. We don't have a lot, but we can give a little. We can make it work. All right, so cool. We've got GoFundMe there. We're going to talk about it. We're going to put it in the show notes too, for those of you watching it and listening. Well, Trevor, good job this past weekend. Good luck, and I hope you win the AA Expert class this weekend at the Rad Dad Enduro. And I look forward to meeting you in person at Big Buck. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah? You want to hang out? You want to high five?
Yeah, we'll do all that.
Ooh, yes! It'll be so much fun. And for those of you who are going to be at the Big Buck, we are going to be there. And on Instagram, we kind of put up that Seat Time Quickie video today. We're going to try to do a lot of those. Just to get some fun, quick information from a lot of different riders, mechanics, and other organizers of the events and see how that goes. So it'll be a lot of fun. Well, Trevor, and your I guess your over-the-shoulder guests, Mr. Baylor, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening hanging out together in whatever state you're in. And be safe. Don't do anything crazy, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right. Yeah. What's that? What's that? All right, guys. Thank you very much for being on the show, and we will talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
Later. All right. So, obviously, big thanks to those guys for coming on the show. Trevor Bollinger doing a great job. Had tremendous 2013. And it looks like so far he's having a great 2014. Sounds like he's had some injuries in the past. I can only say that I hope that those don't come back to haunt him for 2014, because I'd like to see him continue to challenge guys like Ricky Russell and guys like Grant Baylor and some of the other awesome dudes out there in the XC2 class. In the chat room, asking, what do I think of the Santa Cruz Bronson? Well, today, Santa Cruz released, or they sent out the press release for the Santa Cruz Nomad. Now, that is a sexy beast if you want to talk about awesome bikes. It's kind of their enduro-specific. They went from 160 millimeters of travel to 165 millimeters of travel. They slackened the head angle. They steepened the seat tube angle. So it's going to pedal better uphill. It's going to descend better downhill. And it's got 27.5 wheels. Quite the awesome package. The Bronson I really like because of the fact that it has a little bit smaller travel. Right now for me, I live in Texas. I have a 4-inch travel Specialized Epic. Love that bike. I've loved the Epic since it came out. I've liked all the changes they've made to it. The only thing is that I got it after I got rid of my Turner 5-spot. Best bike I've ever owned. I loved that Turner 5-spot, and I want to go back to that kind of 5-inch travel, 69 to 68 degree head angle bike. And so I've decided for a while, I was like, man, what am I going to do? And I was going to go with Santa Cruz. They have not the VPP, but they have a cheaper option that I was going to go with. But I just found out that KTM bicycles are going to be available in the States this year through Imperium Cycles. And so I've been talking with Chris Douglas and a soon-to-be local KTM dealer. Will be carrying KTM bicycles. So I am going to go ahead and pick up their the Lycan, the 2014 Lycan, which is a 27.5 5-inch travel bike. Super excited to get that. I've got a lot of parts that I'm going to put on it because I'm going to start doing reviews for said soon-to-be KTM bicycle dealer here in town. So that'll be a lot of fun. You don't see the updated Nomad. Well, let me find you the link and send it to you because it is sexy. It is sexy. What about you? Getting a bicycle over there, Steven?
What's that?
You getting a bicycle?
Probably not.
Probably not. Not getting a bicycle. Not getting a bicycle.
Two wheels are not my friend.
Two wheels are not your friend. So yes, I'm really excited. Everybody knows that I've kind of got like a mountain biking bug. Like I've been doing that since I was 12 years old as well, and I've had a chance to travel a little, doing some national downhills and dual slalom racing and a couple cross countries and stuff like that with college, and then just after. Tons of fun. I really miss that kind of stuff. I get a little bit of that with dirt biking, and for me, they're not one and the same. They have their own little, nuances that I really enjoy, and I really look forward to having a chance to kind of delve back into that side of my two-wheeled habit for sure. As I was saying, we've got coming up the National Enduro. So we've got the Rad Dad Enduro this coming up weekend in West Point, Tennessee. Mike Brown is going to be racing there. I think that's super cool. I'm excited to see about the first 3 miles. Yes, I can go warm up just like anybody else beforehand, but I think the first 3 miles for everybody to warm up is great. There are a lot of weekend warriors out there, dads with their kids, family guys out there, family moms riding around, and I think that first 3 miles is nice. I think that's going to make a much more enjoyable experience for everybody out there, and I kind of hope that it starts to make it to all the National Enduros and becomes more common. Weeby Racing starts up. I mentioned this because I want to make it out to one of these races. I've heard really good things about the promoters that put these races on. We've talked to a couple of their racers on the shows, so if you're in the New Mexico area, definitely check out Weeby Racing. It sounds like they have an enduro on Saturday and then a hare scramble on Sunday. So I'm excited for that. Let me see what else. So what have we done? We've had episode 122. I am Brian Pierce. I am your host. This has been Seat Time. A little bit shorter. That's okay. It makes time. It's good because Steven can go home to his family and I can make sure my wife has not gone insane, pulled her hair out, or her boobs got bigger. Because if they got bigger, I'd freak out. In a good way, but I'd still freak out. It would be like, oh my God, they're huge again. Ah. So, Seat Time. Obviously, we have our website. You can find us there at seattime.co. We archive all the sites there. You can find all the information about what the going-ons. And you may notice that it's responsive now. So if you visit it on your phone, There's no more scrolling. There's no more moving around. It fits just like it should. If you have any issues with that kind of stuff on the site, please reach out to us. That is what I do for a living, and yes, I would like to make it perfect for everybody if at all possible, so please reach out to us on that. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/seattime. You can reach out to us there, and you can like us. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/seattime_CO. Definitely tweet us real hard. You can do that at seattime_CO or use the hashtag SeatTimeLive or Pintful of Awesome, so you could be submitted into the Pintful of Awesome Award, brought to you by Fly Racing. And some of our fantastic sponsors, of course. We're on Instagram, so Instagram is just Seat Time, one word, SEATTIME. Fine sponsors. Of course, Seat Time has been brought to you by Fly Racing, our good friends over at Ride PG and Stillwell Performance. So we didn't get a chance to talk too much about Ride PG and Stillwell Performance. Ride PG, obviously a great place to go if you're looking for graphics for your motorcycle. You're looking to make stickers. Like all of our Seat Time stickers come from Ride PG. So if you like the consistency, how hard they are, how awesome they are, you can go get those same stickers from Ride PG. We get all our graphics for our motorcycles, soon to be for our UTVs, through Ride PG, all that kinds of fun stuff. So please go check them out. Use the discount code SeatTime. Save yourself some money. And high five Jared Bolton for being a ginger, because God knows he needs extra love in this world. Everybody hates that man way too much. And Stillwell Performance, those guys have done some amazing things for suspension in the off-road world, especially in endurocross. I don't know if you guys have noticed how well Cody Webb has been doing, especially this past year at the TKO. I think he's going to have something. He had that unfortunate injury last year, so with that, he wasn't able to completely compete with Taddy at all the levels they needed to get the win last year in endurocross. So I'm hoping that this year he can stay healthy and get that, maybe get a repeat at the TKO. They're doing great things with suspension over there, so go check out Stillwell Performance at stillwellperformance.com. They can cover all your dampening duties for off-road racers. They do have Cody Webb, Corey Griffunder, Kyle Redmond, and Luis Forsley, just to name a few. You can call them at the shop, ask them how they can make your off-road experience that much better. Definitely tell them that we sent you, because that is how you get the Seat Time Bro deal. They will hook you up with a discount if you tell them that Seat Time sent you and you read, heard, or listened to them about on the show. And we definitely appreciate them for their support of Seat Time. Please go check all of them out and say, what up? Again, paraphernalia is at seattime.bigcartel.com. We will be live again next Tuesday. It'll be after the Enduro, after the Webby Racing. We've got all kinds of stuff going on out west. It's going to be a good episode. Hopefully we can get some more roundtable guests on. I've heard discussions as well in the future of an all-women's episode. We're going to have Jordan Bailey help us pick a few ladies to really have on the show and to chat with them and to break down what it's like for them and how it is for a woman to race in a man's sport, or a man-dominated sport, if you will. So that'll be fun too. So we appreciate everybody who pays attention, watches the show. Go find us on YouTube. Go find us on Stitcher. Go find us on iTunes. Subscribe. Listen to us every week. Tune in live every night, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Or every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Because if it was every night, that would suck. I'm not going to lie. That'd be insane. We don't get paid enough for that. All right. I'm Brian Pierce. I'm your host. We'll see you next week. Peace!